Okay, I have to ask you something. Do you believe in ghosts? Yes or no? Because tonight's author has actually done real paranormal investigations, and we are going to talk about it. So, hi everybody! Welcome to another ReaderCrate author interview. If we haven't met yet, my name is Alyssa Granlund, and I'm the founder of ReaderCrate. I'm also an author. I write books under the pen name Lissa Lund, and so I really love all things books and authors and book clubs and that kind of thing. So every month in Reader Crate, we send out a cozy mystery crate filled with wonderful books and kind of fun themed goodies to create the perfect cozy reading experience. And tonight, we're continuing our celebration of our March Reader Crate, which was Grounds for Suspicion. And I am so excited because one of our featured authors is joining us tonight. So if you are watching live, say hello in the comments and let us know where you're tuning in from so I can say hello to you. Okay. Tonight, we are going to be chatting with Beverly Rearick. She is a talented paranormal cozy mystery author. Beverly writes cozy mysteries with a magical twist. And fun fact, she has been fascinated with the paranormal since she was young and has even done paranormal investigations herself. So I did a little snooping on her and I found this out. And she's also known for including a little signature detail in her books. So you almost always will find a bat somewhere in her stories, which I love. Now, she's the author of multiple series, including the Moonflower Mysteries, the Grizzlewells Paranormal Cozy Mysteries. We'll have to ask her if I pronounce that right. And her book, Up in Fangs, which was featured in our March crate. So please help me welcome Beverly. Hi, Beverly.
Hello.
Welcome. We're so glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, let's start with something kind of fun. So, I read that you've actually done paranormal investigations, which is so fascinating. My niece is going to just flip her lid when she sees this. So, tell us how you first got involved in that.
As you said in the introduction, I've always been interested in the paranormal. Like, I can't remember a time when I wasn't.
Okay.
And I started working at a childcare center, and one of the people that worked there with me was also interested in it and had taken a paranormal investigation class at one of the colleges. It was like a late night thing. And she said, come on, you should take this class. So we took the class, and we actually for a while had like a little group going. And our group actually went to New Jersey one year for a conference there, paranormal conference, where we met quite a few people. One of them actually had a long running EVP radio show. And for a while, I actually produced it for him.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was something I loved. It got to the point where it's kind of hard around because we live in a rural town in Pennsylvania, so you don't get quite as many reports about it that people want you to investigate. So it was hard to get investigations, but when we did go, it was always fun.
So were you going into homes or historic buildings or cemeteries? Kind of picture
We
for it.
did 2 homes. A lot of the other stuff we did university theater, an accounting office at a theater or at the university. We did a hotel. We did a historical society. So it's a little mixture of both.
And did you ever have any up close and personal experiences?
We've gotten a lot. We got a lot of stuff on video. But personally, we were at the one at the accounting place at the university, and I was upstairs getting stuff around, and I just happened to look up, and in the hallway going from like the one part to another room, someone walked by in like this really colorful, like olden style dress. And I was like, okay. And I got on our intercoms and I was like, is anybody up here with me? Because I was supposed to be the only one on the second floor. And they're all like, no. And I was like, is someone dressed up? And they're like, no. And I was like, okay. So I had that. We've had things like cameras being moved, cameras falling off of places where there was no way they could have fallen off. We've gotten some really good pictures. So the funnest one though was we did Gettysburg because we're all kind of close to Gettysburg.
Okay.
And I personally love it. And we were on the Sachs Bridge, which at night it's pitch black. You can't see in front of you.
Okay.
And it wasn't just us, there's a bunch of different people. And we started walking, and all of a sudden, this guy in complete, like the army uniform, jumps out in front of us. And we're like, oh my. Here it ended up being one of the reenactors was on the bridge too and hadn't told us. So that was kind of freaky at first, but
yeah.
it ended up being fun.
Like, what kind of tools are you using when you're doing this stuff?
We did, we had cameras, EMF detectors, which is, they're kind of a box and they detect, I'm trying to think of what is called the magnetic fields. Like a lot of electricity gives that off. Okay. But if you have everything shut down, it shouldn't be going off. If it does, supposedly that's a ghost. Audio recordings to get EVPs, which is supposedly ghost talking. We had video set up in different rooms. And a lot of times it was just us walking through and, what we felt, what we would see, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Well, that sounds pretty fun, actually.
It was. I loved doing it. It just, like I said, there wasn't a lot of places around here. Plus, around that time, all the other shows started to come on. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the shows gave bad names. People didn't want you in their homes, like activating stuff by what you do. So,
yeah. Did you ever have any genuinely scary moments at all?
Well, there was one that was where I live. There was an older couple that owned a kind of like an apartment building / office area. It was like one of the coolest places. And the couple was great. And we were all like going to different levels. They had all these different like weird staircases. And me and my one friend was up on the 3rd floor. And just out of nowhere, we both just kind of got this really bad feeling. And we just took off and went downstairs. And later on, we were listening to the recordings. And so on one of the audio tapes, it sounded like someone told us to get out. So that wasn't kind of fun. And I was always like, yep, I'm not going back to the 3rd floor.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So have any of your experiences made their way into your books?
They haven't made their way into my books, but a lot of just the stuff I've read, the stuff I've learned, I kind of put it in the Griselle Wells series, which is the Up and Fangs. That she is kind of a investigator herself, although hers is a little different. She's out searching for magical objects, but I just kind of think about what I was looking for at times, and that kind of helps a little bit to get you in the mood with her.
Yeah, that's cool. So what do your friends and family think about this? Do they think it's fascinating, or do they think it's a little crazy, or what?
The paranormal part? Yeah. My husband is fine with it. He's just like me. His family grew up with, the belief and all that stuff. So he, always, encouraged me. So a lot of my family is really religious, so they're not, like, we don't talk about it that much. Yeah.
Well, that's super fun. So, well, thank you for sharing all that. If somebody wanted to get into exploring paranormal investigating, what would you tell them?
It's been a little since I've been in, so I don't know if they still do it, but look and see if you can find some classes. Okay. Read everything you possibly can. You can watch the shows that's online, but just be careful. because a lot of them, we were always taught you don't antagonize anything. You know,
Mhm.
you don't call them out. You treat people, you treat them like you would treat anybody, like standing beside you. So
Sure.
you're not rude and all that. And a lot of the shows nowadays can go that direction.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So what do you personally believe? Do you believe it's like ghosts or spirits or energy, or what do you think?
I believe there's like different kinds. Like some things aren't really a ghost, it's more like an echo, I guess
Oh.
you would say. If it was like a really traumatic event, it just kind of like replays. And
Oh.
you supposedly you can tell these are different because there's no interaction. Like if you would see something, they just what I always think of with it is, I don't know if anyone's ever seen this movie. It kind of dates me. High Spirits. Um, it was like an old 80s movie.
Hmm.
Has
I remember.
Daryl Hall and Steven Guttenberg on it.
Oh, okay.
But there's a scene in there where the ghost husband kills his ghost wife, and it just kept replaying and replaying and playing. And that's
Um,
kind of like the echo. And then there's the things where it's actually a ghost. And I definitely believe in that. My father passed away about 11 years ago. And
mhm.
right afterwards, I was getting weird phone calls at noon, which was around the time it happened. Someone would call, and then when I pick up, there'd be no one there. Um, I actually had a dream that night of him coming and telling me things were going to be okay. So that kind of stuff, definitely, I believe.
Mhm.
And I believe they do. And I believe that people come back and check on you and that kind
Mm,
of stuff.
that's
So,
good.
you know, I have a lot of belief in it. I mean, we did go to the one conference we went to. There was someone that kind of said Bigfoot came from UFOs. Now that's kind of pushing my belief system a little far, but there's a lot of stuff I believe.
Oh, I see. Hmm. Yeah, I guess we don't know. Well, so, all right. So, you listeners, if you're listening, do you believe in ghosts? Have you ever had any paranormal experiences? Would you go on an investigation or absolutely not? Tell us in the comments, and I'll come back to it if anybody's brave enough to share their thoughts. Okay, so I love that you kind of have had these real life experiences, and you're able to use it to help kind of build your character a little bit, which is really fun. So let's talk about your writing. Okay, so tell us a little bit about what, first of all, tell us where you live.
I live in Mifflinburg, Pennsylvania, which is a little royal town between Williamsport, which is where the Little League happens every year, the Little League World Series, and that and State College, which is where Penn State is. So we're like halfway in between the two places.
Okay. Okay. And then so tell us a little bit about what your, so you're in a small town,
Mm.
kind of smaller
Yeah.
town, would you say?
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So, all right. So tell us a little bit about what a day in the life looks like for you for your writing. Are you full-time writer or do you have another
I
job? Or,
I am full time.
okay.
During COVID, I had been working, but then that place closed down, and my husband's like, you know what? Try this, do this now, and then let's see what happens.
Good, good. And it's been going well, hasn't it?
Pretty good, yeah.
Good. So tell us a little bit about your typical day in the day in the life.
I actually have this a different day than most people because I have fibromyalgia and vestibular migraines. So, depending on what I do and when I do it, I can be down and out for days. I could be like just getting up, walking, and suddenly go dizzy. So, I have to kind of go with the energy flow,
Yeah.
is kind of how I always say it. So, my husband is a truck driver. So, the days he's away, I usually start my day at 8 o'clock and my writing day ends at 9, but at night. But in between there, like I'll take a break to do this, I'll take a break to do that. Excuse my
Oh,
cat.
hello. Hello. Who is that?
That is our one cat, Squeakers. We call her the princess. And
Oh.
my desk is, I actually have my desk area in the living room. and they think my desk is like their roadway.
Well,
So
yeah, it's fun.
yeah. But yeah, so I mainly like I'll get up and I'll like do social media and work on some marketing stuff throughout the day, like taking breaks here and there. And then it's usually the evening when I am at my best with my creativity. So usually come evening time, that's when I'm working on my manuscripts and outlining and doing all that kind of stuff.
Good. Do you know L. Ren Berkey?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'm going to connect you guys because she's got some similar health issues as you do. And in fact, I've been she was actually in the crate with you, and she is doing a migraine study right now, where she's going in for 10 days in a row doing some reprogramming of her brain to try to help with the
Oh,
migraine. She actually has to wear the migraine glasses all the time, and
oh.
yeah, so she's, but anyway, you know, I'm going to connect you because I think you guys would hit it off, and your writing style is similar, and I think it would be good. So I'm going to connect you guys.
Interesting.
Yeah. So all right. So you kind of write at night. So that's a little different. Most writers are more early birds, get it done in the morning, right? So you're more at night. Okay. Well, that's cool. So do you remember the moment when you thought, I'm going to write a book? When did this start?
I've always wanted to write. I actually can remember being still in elementary school and like writing writing screenplays. Like the one I wrote was about Bloody Mary. As I said, I've always been interested in paranormal stuff. Um, I wrote, and like my friend and me put it on, and her dad videotaped it. I hope that got disappeared a long time ago. But or I would watch a TV show and like kind of put my own twist on it and write it down. So I always was doing that, but I never really thought to myself, "Oh, I want to write a book." It wasn't until I got to high school I joined journalism, and I was just in love with it. Writing stories was just like articles was something I really liked. But then the more I would write them, the more I was like, I like the writing. It's just this isn't what like I want. And I someone had mentioned to me about, because I was always reading books. Like if I went anywhere, I had a book with me, even in high school. Like I'd have my school books and my book was on top. And they were like, as many books as you read, you should be able to write one your own. And I was thinking, you know what, that would be cool. And I would think about it off and on throughout the years. And then I had my son, and I tried a little bit during that time, and it just didn't fit. And I started working in childcare. And the longer I worked in childcare, I was like, yeah, this isn't where I want to be forever. So I would start, and I would always write, but it would never go too far. And then once COVID hit, where I was working, we barely had any, it was just me in the office. It was a printing company. Nobody really was getting printing done. So I'd be there all day by myself. And you can only watch Netflix so many hours. So finally I was just like, we're gonna try this. And I wrote a complete book. It didn't go nowhere. It wasn't quite what I wanted. But I started looking more into like Facebook and reading articles, and it was just like, you know what, this is what I want to do. I'm gonna try it. Especially once my husband was like, this is the time for you to, stay home, do this, we can afford it. And it just went from there.
So what made you pick Cozy Mysteries?
It was something I read.
Mm-hmm.
I read just about any genre.
Mm-hmm.
Dean Koontz is actually my favorite author.
Okay.
But when I started reading, Cozy Mysteries seemed to be the one thing that you could do the paranormal on. And I love like figuring things out. Like we'll be watching a TV show and it'll be 10 minutes in and I'll be like, that's who did it. And my husband will be like, no, it's not. And then it comes in and that's who did it. He goes, I hate that. So I just always like doing that. And I just thought, let's try this, see if it works. And it has. I mean, people has enjoyed my books. Now I am hoping to start going a little bit another series I want to do, like just paranormal romance,
Mm,
or just paranormal women's fiction, and move away from the mystery just a little bit and
okay.
just see how that is. But yeah, I like coming up with, who's the person that did this, and when you get really angry you can be like, oh, this person's gonna die today. And it's kind of fun.
So tell us about, let's talk about Up in Fangs, okay? And give our readers just a little peek into the story. Don't give anything away, but people who haven't had a chance to read it yet, give them a little kind of blurb on it.
Up in Fangs is basically about Griselle Wells, who is a vampire that can actually talk to ghosts, but not too many people in her life knows it. And she works for the paranormal council, and she is like the second command of the paranormal artifact. I gotta make sure I get this right. Retrieval team, which comes out being part. And their job is to go out and get artifacts that are in the human world that could expose their secrets. And
Okay.
this first one, this is like the first case I have them doing together, where they meet FBI agent, and it just has a bunch of like murder mystery in the. So it's different than a lot of cozy mysteries in the fact that it's not in one town.
Oh, okay.
They go to. Sorry, my other one.
Hello.
My clingy boy is coming over. He's my one that likes to sit on my desk when I'm working. He or they go to different towns for every story, while a lot of them stays in the same town.
Right.
So that's a little bit different with this series. And this is like a spin-off kind of my other series, which is Moonflowers, where that one stays in the same town. But Griselle had showed up there for one of the episode or one of the books, and I just fell in love with her, and I was like, I have to do a series with just her.
Yeah, that's great. So how do you've got multiple books and series. So how do you keep your stories fresh and your characters continually evolving?
I have like a story arc that I've written out that I kind of know like how many books are supposed to be in the series and what's kind of going to happen. Just mainly about the characters, not so much of the actual mysteries. And
Mhm.
then when it comes time to like outline the book, I'll sit down and like read the news and see if there's anything that like clicks, or just brainstorm all these ideas. And it just eventually I come up with the like what feels like, oh, this is the perfect mystery to go with what is supposed to happen with the characters and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh,
So
that's
with
good.
but the character arc is usually like the main thing I figure out ahead of time, so I kind of know where things are headed.
That's good. So who's your favorite character that you've written?
Griselle is one, and I like Samantha too, which is the main character in Moonflowers. But I'm actually working on another spinoff from my book that just came out last month, which was a Moonflower book. And there's this character, Dorian Blake, and he is a vampire pretending to be a human, pretending to be a vampire influencer. And he's just so over the top and funny, and I just adore him. And as soon as I started writing about him, I was like, okay, we're going here with him. He has to have his own series because this is going to be so much fun.
Oh, I can't wait. That's going to be great. Okay. So, So let's talk about the bats. Okay. So
Yes,
tell us, I know you love bats and you include them in your stories.
love him.
Okay. So how did that start?
I don't know. I've just always been interested in bats. Um, my dad was a outdoorsman, So, and he would take me a lot of times, like going hunting, he would take me. Now I would sit and find a place to sit and read a book, but I still would be out there. But I can remember like going like fishing and there being pavilions and looking up and finding the bats in the pavilions. I still do
Oh,
that.
oh,
It's just, I don't know. I've just always been fascinated. I think they are so adorable. Um, and it's just something I just love them, and it's so funny because like everyone knows it. um, I have a bat tattoo. It's the only tattoo I actually have, and it's a bat. My desk is full of bat stuff. Like it's just, and when I started writing, and everyone's always like, "You got to have an animal," and I was like, "Well, it has to be a bat. I can't
mhm.
have anything but a bat in one of my stories."
Yeah, that's so cute. So what's a memorable moment for everybody that about your bats? Anything that you want to share? Any moment in the books or
Um, well, he's the bat in my book is well he's a talking bat, but he actually was a vampire that was cursed by a witch and turned into a bat.
okay.
So, but he's also very snarky, and anyone who gets sees my like Facebook post will see that I usually have a every Saturday I have a Grover's Corner. That's his name, Grover, and he usually gives like rumors that's going around or the local gossip. So I just love trying to think of what the next thing Grover's gonna find, and
Oh,
he just
that's really clever. That's
yeah,
really clever.
because he's all over. Like he's always flying around and all that. But he does. I do like him and Samantha have this thing that he's always trying to eat the regular food, and she's always yelling at him because you're a bat. You don't eat all this stuff. So it's funny. I love writing his character.
It's good.
He always has the snark to him.
So are you a plotter or a pantser?
Plotter.
Plotter,
I'm a
yeah.
big time plotter. I pretty much have the whole story written out in like paragraph form
Okay.
with like no dialogue or anything, or sometimes there's just snippets of dialogue. But I
Okay.
pretty much have everything written out, and then that's what I go through to work on my chapters. And if I don't, I go off on, and even with the strict outline, I'll go out and off on tangents because they pull me. They're like, no, 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 we're going this way.
Yep.
So that has happened. I've had to change. I had to change the whole arc for my Moonflower one because at the end of the one book, the boyfriend gets sucked into the underworld. And I'm like, oh, now what I'm going to do? He's supposed to be in the next book. So I actually ended up writing a book where they go into the underworld, which is Grizel and Samantha together go into the underworld to get him back. So sometimes they just pull me in a direction I never planned to go.
Was that a full book or was that a short kind of in
No,
between
that
book?
was the underworld one was actually ended up being a full book.
Okay,
Um,
wow. Wow. So one
yep,
got added. That's great.
yep.
So when you're writing, when you're plotting things out, does the mystery come first or the paranormal elements or how does that work?
The paranormal elements are kind of already ingrained. My mind just automatically, like when I'm writing, it's just like automatically, okay, she whips her hands out and does this little thing. And I don't ever really think, like, I don't really add it in unless it's something like I've had mishaps where the daughter has turned her into a cat. Now I plan that ahead of time. But a lot of the magic stuff is just, it just happens and I don't think about it. But I definitely do the mystery is like the main thing I do. And then
Mhm.
I'll work on the characters in that because, and throw in like the subplots, like what's supposed to be happening with the characters.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there people are reading the books for the mystery. So that needs to be my main focus at first.
So, what are you hearing from your readers as far as why paranormal cozies are popular right now or magical elements or anything? Do you get feedback or do you hear things from people?
I haven't really got feedback. I know personally, like because I like the stuff, that's what I read. But I
Mhm.
think a lot of authors are starting to write more of it. I've noticed there's just a lot, and there's a lot more. Like now, there's cozy fantasy and cozy. All these different things are splitting off, and I think people are more into reading it. And fantasy is just something like the a lot of the fantasy books now people are really getting into.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I kind of like the happily ever after, and I like the clean aspect of it, you know.
Yes.
So okay, if readers could step into one of your books, which one should they do first?
I'd say start with Moonflower, but I think either of the first ones, either Moonflower or the Up and Fangs, would definitely be the thing, because even though Grizel is in the Moonflower series, it's not like such a big thing that you have to read the Moonflower series before you get here. I mean,
Okay.
she does mention Samantha in the thing, but when she mentions her, there's always like she's a friend from Moonflower and all that. So
Yeah.
either of the first ones, I would
Just the first
say,
in series in either one. Okay.
yes.
So what are you working on right now?
I am finishing up the third book in the Grizel series. And I'm starting to toy with the new spinoff with the Dorian and that, but that's going to come a little bit farther down. But I thought let's get a little ahead of it, and then starting next month, I plan the next Moonflower book and start writing.
So when do you think you'll release? I'm sorry. When do you think you'll release the third one here?
The third one comes out in May, the end of May.
So how many books do you write a year?
I try to do 3.
Okay.
That's like I guarantee myself I have to do 2, but I try to do 3. It just all depends on health issues and how, that's one thing I've learned. When I first started, I was like, have to do 4 a year and and it was like, no, you can't push yourself. That's the good thing about this career, is that you can kind of you have a little more flexibility than you do with a lot of other stuff. So it works perfect for me.
For yourself. Yeah. So, well, all right. So if readers want to connect with you, where should they go?
I have a website, BeverlyRearickAuthor.com.
Okay.
I'm also on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, and I am on Pinterest.
Okay, so I'm going to put your website in the comments here. Beverly Rearick, ReArick author.com.
Yep, and that has all my links in there that you can come and visit me on any social platform.
Okay, so I stuck that in the comments. And so if they go over there, can they also get on any kind of an email list with you or anything like that?
Yep.
Do you that?
Right at the bottom, there's a sign up for the email list, and I send out at least once a month. If something special is happening, like a special sale or the release of new book, it might be a couple times a month, but I'm not a every week thing. It's more once a month, just to keep everyone updated. And I try to always, have some fun things in there and that kind of stuff in my newsletter.
Awesome. Okay, good. So, well, you guys, if you are interested in knowing more about Beverly, go to her website, check it out. And, tonight is really just a perfect example of why I created ReaderCrate, because I love introducing wonderful authors like you, Beverly, and helping people discover new books that they might not have found otherwise. So that's what we do every month inside ReaderCrate. So, Our April crate is coming up. It's called Petals and Peril, where everything is blooming, including the body count. And so we've included some really special items in this one, including a piece of artwork that I fell in love with that supports a really meaningful cause. A gal, an autistic gal made it. It's so beautiful. And I was able to get a bunch of them. So they're going to be in the crate. And so if you readers, if that sounds like something you would enjoy and you're not a member yet of ReaderCrate, you can check us out at readercrate.com because we'd love to have you join us. So Beverly, thank you so much for being here tonight. This was really fun. It was fun to hear your journey. Yeah, and thanks for everybody else who joined us live. And if you're watching not live, thanks for watching because we love having these conversations out there. This is going to be on YouTube too, so I'll get you the link, Beverly, on that. But yeah, so happy sleuthing, everybody. Enjoy reading some new books and check out Beverly's other series. So thanks so much. Bye, everybody.